Hello, everybody. My name's Nicholas Tockert, and welcome to the Historical Fencing Guild's first episode of Insomniac Weapon Trainer Review. Tonight, we will be doing a review on this the Coldsteel Kukri trainer with 12-inch blade. And to tell you, because I'm sorry, this is my first time going, and we have a viewer. That's wonderful. The list price of this is $18.99. Now that's Coldsteel's usual MSRP, which means wholesalers usually get it significantly cheaper. And if you dig around, you can too. Now, before I get really into this wonderful little thing, I want to talk about what I'm doing live with no warning. I have a backlog of trainers that I've been meaning to review, and I keep putting it off and working on it and delaying it. And it occurred to me, I'm just going to start doing it. So whenever I'm up late at night and I can't sleep, I'm going to dig into the big red box and pull out a trainer. This week's is the Kukri. Now, I will tell you, normally I am not a big Kukri fan. And I also tell you, I do not review anything I haven't handled and tried for at least a reasonable amount of time. I picked this because, unlike many trainers, this does certain key things right. And the features that it does right could translate to any of the other trainers. So I really want to start on a high point. First off, the Kukri is an excellent length. This is long enough to be what I would consider a fighting knife, nearly a short sword. The weighted balance moves very much axe-like. And as somebody who wrote a book on fighting with axes, I am really fond of just the very forward, unapologetic cutter feel and weight of this particular trainer. Now, it has a sweet spot to the belly. So when you hit, even as a trainer, it slides and hits. So there's a severance that's very positive. It's very good for blocking. It's made out of the polypropylene that Coldsteel is kind of legendary for. So it is very sturdy. Unlike a lot of Coldsteel products, it has a measure of flex, which I found surprising in such a chop-oriented blade. Now, we're going to talk about the one downfall as a trainer that I feel obligated to mention, and that being that the point is very pronounced. Coldsteel trainers tend to mirror the weapons that they are matched. So you could buy a Kukri for probably a moderate to high price from Coldsteel with the same style grip, same blade ergonomics, everything. That's one thing I love. I love when knife companies make trainers that match their weapons. But the tip from a training standpoint, even though there is some give, is a bit aggressive, which means your calibration on a thrust needs to be superb. However, friends, if you use it like it's really meant to be, as a cutter, it just sings. But the best part of it is twofold, and it's on the end. Believe it or not, as much as a Kukri is a distinctive, famous blade, the hilt on this knife, which, yes, it is a single molded piece, but this is where it absolutely shines. This has been a favorite knife. I've had people, women not much larger than 5 feet, men well over 6 feet with proportionate hand sizes, all love the grip on this knife. And there's some good, solid reasoning for that. And I want to talk about it because when the company does something this right, I really like it. First off, there is a lanyard hole. I am a huge fan of lanyards. As somebody with grip issues, a lanyard can be a great safety issue, especially safety resource, especially with something as aggressive as this. And that mirrors how one should use a Kukri in real life, especially through sort of trailblazing applications. Obviously, fighting grip retention is wonderful, but you may not have time to get that lanyard cinched nice before you get to a battle thing. So let that go. But what's great about this is, even though the kind of now ubiquitous black polystyrene. Anyway, is very smooth. Let me see, the incredibly aggressive diamond check pattern with an alternating, just almost file style pattern on the back makes this just lock into your hand. This is how the belly on a handle should be, guys. I have other weapons that I will talk about later. Um, there's a type of cutlass that comes to mind that's been floating around where the hyper aggressive bellies are great for certain style hands. This fits everyone with the flare on the butt of the knife. Larger hands have room, but smaller hands aren't lost. They just fall into a centered groove. So if you're using a traditional kind of ice pick grip, which is, again, this is an aggressive cutter, that actually is very comfortable. If you're using a knife grip, if you're using more of a sword fighter's grip where you've got your thumb, a fencing grip, placed on the spine of the knife or in line with the spine, your hand slides out and it's still quite comfortable. What's astonishing about this particular design, and I'm just talking for now about the hilt, the blade does what it's supposed to do. It's almost the flat of the blade is flat and broad, it's got solid spine. The edge is not marked up, it's not marred. It takes and blocks hits, and you can see a little bit of light strike scarring from us using this in practices. But as I've come to expect from the tank-like Coldsteel trainers, this is nearly bulletproof. Not literally, guys. I don't want to, have Demolition Ranch telling me it needs to be shot. But this makes the absolute best grip retention I've seen in almost any knife. There is one exception that springs to mind by CRKT, and I'll be reviewing that in another video. But this is just an incredibly positive grip for a long fighting knife style, and it doesn't slip. It doesn't slip when your hands get slick when you're fighting. It does, light gloves for like fencing gloves or even welding gloves, they don't give an issue. Lacrosse gloves still work around it. I would hazard to guess that even a moderate clamshell would still likely lock well around this hilt. So it's just very comfortable. It works really well with what it's meant to do, and to me, it seems like it's a fine addition to anybody who wants maybe something a bit more exotic in their training regimen. They want a knife that looks a little more different, maybe has a bit of edge. I always say, if you are looking to buy a live steel type of knife that you intend to use, let me check this. Boop. Okay. If you buy a knife like that you intend to use, you definitely want to buy a trainer. If you can't afford a trainer or one isn't available, I give videos on this very channel about how to make your own low-cost trainers so that you know how it's going to handle, how it's going to feel. This is one of the knives I have that are I affectionately refer to as my fidget knives. I love to pick this trainer up when I'm working on something or I'm watching a video where I'm studying and I just want to keep my hands busy, loosen up the shoulder kind of thing. And this just locks in. I want to talk about something else when we're talking knives, and this is a great example. This spur is so vital because with the way this knife cuts, on a hack, it's going to settle into the sweet spot. On a stab, if it misses, it's still going to kind of that down pressure on a push cut. I don't normally recommend push cuts. I'm a fencer. You want your thrust, that's fine. but a push cut is not nearly as powerful as a draw cut. Now, a draw cut on this is beastly. So if you get past and you pull back, it just opens a very deep wound channel. You could feel the variance of pressure, and that's safely simulated in this trainer. But this stop point is becoming, people like the very sleek knives. And I'm trying to think of a knife I have that's very sleek. And I actually actively avoid knives with the minimalist guards because I don't want on a thrust to slide up and cut my hands. And I don't want the material coming down and hitting my hands. I like my hands. They don't work well anymore, but they work well enough, and I don't want to lose any more function. So if you're looking for a medium to entry level knife trainer and you want something big, especially if you're an old Halo nut like me, I remember Reach. I hope you do too. This is a great trainer, and it's a great place to start. So you can find the Coldsteel Kukri. Give me just a second because my backup screen went black. And that's the fun of live TV, folks. It's Coldsteel 92R 35Z Kukri trainer with 12-inch blade, 17.25 inches overall. Which, if I pull out a known measure, they're not lying. They're not lying. It's about 17 inches. And yes, I do use an ancient flexi dagger as an impromptu ruler. Great knife, great trainer, reasonable cost entry. So if this is in your bailiwick and you want, that slightly more aggressive, dare I say edgy style, this is a good thing to go with. I would say, as with all Coldsteel branded trainers, look around. You can usually find them significantly cheaper than MSRP. Now, this is a totally new format I kind of came up with on the fly to solve the problem of me needing to crank out a lot of shorter videos and not really having a lot of scheduled space to do so. If you like what I'm doing, please hit the like and subscribe. I love comments in the box, so by all means, don't be afraid to ask questions. If I don't get them during the live stream, I will get to them later. To those of you who don't know, the Historical Fencing Guild, which is this channel, is a place where I try to take Western and some Eastern martial arts, condense them into a simple manner, and present them in a way that anyone can learn. It is made possible by my books, The Simple Sword and The Fighting Axe. Both of these are available through Amazon at www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tockert. That's me. I'm even on the back. It's also made possible by my Patreon. My lovely Patreon members help this rather poor guy who just upgraded to a sexy dungeon screen back here to keep his lights on and be able to afford the very trainers that I'm going to be reviewing for you. I don't know how often I'll be doing this. If you guys like the format, please comment and please share this around so that I can help fight the algorithm. YouTube does not like little guys trying to do basically what I do. So outside of that, guys, be good to yourselves. Keep your guard up. And as always, support your local sword master.